What's going on? It's Riz here from the Bass University, and I am excited to welcome in Waterwood Custom Baits to the Bass U family. These are custom handmade baits in the South Rainforest of Brazil. They're made of Marupa pedra wood. It's extremely dense, it's resistant, but it's also really buoyant. They're made of quality components with a 100% guarantee. They're made for tournament anglers to get it done when the money is on the line. Guys, that was like my second cast with this bait. That's a Waterwood custom bait. These things are handmade in the rainforest south of Brazil. And I mean, as you can see right here, it's a fish catching bait. It's got the front hook. That means they wanted it. This bait's, it's running really true. It throws really well. Guys, check them out at waterwoodcustombaits.com.
Welcome to Bass U Live. We always say we're live from TackleDirect Studios, but guess what, man? We are really live from the actual TackleDirect today. So it's really we're really excited to be here. We're live across all of our platforms because it's our holiday show. We've got some amazing holiday gifts that the folks at TackleDirect have made available, super special for you guys watching this show. TackleDirect.com. Go use the code Bass U Live. Now, this is going to be in the comments everywhere on all of our platforms, but I'm going to say it to you right now. Bass U Live 22. That means you, TikTok. Yeah, I know you guys are watching too. Bass U Live 22. Amazing, super discounted for all the tackle that we're going to be talking about today. A lot of the gear that we're going to be talking about today. So go check it out. There are a few exemptions, but most everything here at the TackleDirect store is on sale. So really cool, Rich. This is the first, and you did this, man. You're the engineer, the producer. You're everything. You got us live from the from TackleDirect today.
Yeah, you know, Pete, this is really exciting to be able to do our live show basically from anywhere we want. And how much better could it be than to be going live from a tackle shop, right? Like we have all these amazing products in front of us. We have rods, we have reels, we have baits. I can't wait to dive into all of it. You know, I cannot contain myself as we have a laptop talking to us here.
Yeah.
But guys, anyway, we're live today from TackleDirect, and we're going to be talking to you guys about all the awesome new products that came out this year. You know, what some of the best sellers are here, and Pete and I are going to go into on how we use these baits in our fishing arsenal and ways you guys can use them too.
And we want to hear from you guys. Like, what's your hot bait for 2022? What'd you catch the most fish on? What got you in the winner circle this year? Let's dive in. You know, there's a lot to talk about here. But guys watching us, I know over on Facebook we've got a great like and share contest over there. If you're watching over there, make sure you like us and share us. Heck, wherever you're watching us, share it where you can. And this is going to be a great opportunity for you guys to get a great discount on some of the top products on the planet from our friends here at TackleDirect. And pay attention because we are going to be giving away a Cashin fishing rod today. That's right. This is one of their new element rods. As I'm picking it up here, I think all you guys can see it. We're going to be giving away a brand new Cashin element rod. It's $129.99. Tremendous rod for that price point as it is, but we're going to be giving away to one of you guys as a grand prize today. So make sure you pay attention because we're going to be asking you a question based on a lot of what we talked about today. So we've got that going on. We want to thank our friends at Hobie Eyewear. They make the best glasses on the planet. I want to check. We gave away a pair of the Huntington glasses last show, which are awesome because it allows you to switch lenses and you know, depending on the conditions
on
that
the fly.
you face on the fly. And Did I get all the promotions right, Rich? Now we're live here, guys. We're in the store, so we're going to screw this up. I know, but did I miss anything?
Yeah, that's par for course for us. But we have also a great deal going on with our friends over at Cashin. Like you said, the friends and family, 20% off site wide. We got to make sure we thank our friends over at Bass Boat for Sale. If you are looking to buy or sell a bass boat, head over to bassboatforsale.com. It's the leading destination to get the job done. And guys, also with Missile Baits, there is 30% off right now, 30 count bags of your Missile Baits products. So whether that's your D-bombs, that's your dream worms, all the goods over there are 30% off. Check them out. They all got some awesome Black Friday sales going on, as well as some Black Friday sales going on here at Tackle Direct.
huge things going on here. So we're going to dive in. Are we going to take a commercial break?
Yeah,
like we normally do.
Yep.
So we're going to get our baits together, guys. Get your baits together. What do you guys want to talk about? What was your most successful baits for 2022? And we're going to get our baits all together here, and we're going to blow them out, guys. Huge sale here at Tackle Direct. So we'll be right back after just a couple messages here, and we're going to dive into today's show.
What's going on? It's Riz here from the Bass University, and I am excited to welcome in Waterwood Custom Baits to the Bass U family. These are custom handmade baits in the South Rainforest of Brazil. They're made of Marupa pedra wood. It's extremely dense, it's resistant, but it's also really buoyant. They're made of quality components with a 100% guarantee. They're made for tournament anglers to get it done when the money is on the line. Guys, that was like my second cast with this bait. That's a Waterwood custom bait. These things are handmade in the rainforest south of Brazil. And I mean, as you can see right here, it's a fish catching bait. It's got the front hook. That means they wanted it. This bait's, it's running really true. It throws really well. Guys, check them out at waterwoodcustombaits.com.
BassBoatForSale.com is the world's premier bass boat listings business. We focus on driving premium web traffic to our main website, business Facebook page, business Instagram, and our business YouTube channel, providing your bass boat listings the best buying traffic and top-notch exposure. Whether you need to sell your bass boat or are looking to buy a bass boat, it's simple. We give boats exposure so buyers shop and sellers list. One-time listing fee, no commission, and boats list until they sell. BassBoatForSale.com. Check it out.
AquaView, the leader in underwater viewing technology. Find what you are looking for. Catch more fish. Have more fun. AquaView. Seeing is believing.
Why do you love casting fishing rods?
I'm truly losing less fish.
Is the sensitivity of the rod.
That they're made right here in North Carolina in the USA. Strongest, lightest rod, 100% bait here in Sanford, North Carolina.
From the drop shot rod to the flipping stick, every rod has a purpose to it, and I rely on them all the time when I'm out there in a tournament.
Durability in the John Cruz Worming series, the counterbalancing in the handle.
It's the only rod I found that can withstand my hook set. Boom goes the dynamite.
On the water, not spent fishing is a moment wasted. That's why Minn Kota and Humminbird have joined forces to bring you the One Boat Network. Products that communicate and integrate to help you take full command of your boat. Born from our commitment to making the most advanced fishing gear even better by making it work together. The One Boat Network will help you find, get to, stay on, and catch more fish. When One Boat Network products talk to each other, they can navigate your boat automatically. They can give you a crystal clear view of what's below with no messy wires. And they can let you lower, raise, and change shallow water anchor modes from anywhere on the boat. But that's just the beginning. We're never done innovating, integrating, and making your boat simpler and easier to control. All so you can make every second on the water count.
Welcome back, guys. We are live from Tackle Direct store, the studio, in-store studio. Man, tremendous deal going on. We got a 20% off across the board. There are some exemptions there, but most everything is on sale. Everything we're going to be talking about today is 20% off. Use the code. It's only good for 24 hours from right now, starting at 11 a.m. Eastern time. It will expire tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern time on Wednesday. So take advantage of it while you can. And thank you, Tackle Direct. This is awesome. This
Great deal.
Amazing. Yeah. Amazing thing that they're making available to our guys. What we're going to talk about today, we're talking about tackle. So let's do some tackle talk. Let's dive into some of the tackle that is the best-selling products for Tackle Direct this year.
There's usually a reason for the best sellers, right?
Right.
Usually a reason. It means they catch them. So
they catch them. It's a winter cycle. I honestly, my wife showed me this. Like when we shop, because I'm a terrible shopper, I don't know how to do it. and she's like,
Amazon, brother.
Well, we would go to the pegs on the store. And she would look for the pegs that had nothing left on them. Like look for that color or that item that was virtually sold out.
Right.
And that's the one.
Hey.
That's the one. And that's why we talk about the best-selling items, because, they're the ones that guys are catching them on, winning tournaments on.
Absolutely.
And this is one. This is the Berkeley Fritz side. And I'll show it to you guys right there. The color on this is a red spring crawl color. You guys can see it over there on TikTok. So many different colors that are effective. This spring crawl is a great one, and this is a $9.50 retail price. That's going to be almost $2 off this bait for all these baits. They were so hard to find. How about it? When our boy won, never crankbait fished in his life, but John Cox gets this in his hand and goes out and wins.
Immediately. John Cox learns how to shallow crank, and guess what? He goes and wins a tournament. And you can actually catch that seminar on Bass U TV. We have an awesome shallow cranking seminar from John where he talks about the Berkeley Fritz side a lot. And, it's a flat out fish catching bait. That bait has bailed me out of tough tournaments more times than probably any other bait in my box.
No kidding.
Yeah, really. When it's cold and it's, you got a post frontal condition and they are just in a bad mood, they will still bite that sucker. They will. It has something unique about it. And one of my favorite things about that bait too is it throws really well, but you get the action and the characteristics of the the flat side bait. It has a very unique wobble. It has a unique action. And something else that's great about it, you can take that bait out of the pack and throw it. It's got Berkeley Fusion hooks on it. You don't need to change them out. The split rings are good. The hooks are good. It's a take it out of the pack, tie it on, and throw it and start catching fish. And they come in various amounts of colors, sizes. There's 3 different sizes on the Fritz side, guys. I don't know if you're aware of that. There's a junior, there's a standard, and then there's the biggin.
The biggin.
And they also have it's several different diving depths as well. That's the shallower diver that goes to about 5, 6, somewhere in that range, depending on what kind of line you're throwing. But they have Fritz sides that go down to 9. They have even deeper than that. And once you start to understand your equation for that bait, and what I mean by that is the rod you're using with the right line, with the right gear ratio reel, it's to be reckoned with. It's going to put fish in the boat for you. Highly recommend it in all scenarios, whether that's rock, gravel, grass. That bait gets it done.
It's a fish guy. I remember Ike was on talking about this bait, and he was saying one of the things that made him uncomfortable working this bait was you didn't get that big thump right, that you typically can get with a lot of different crankbaits. Well, guess what? There's time that you want that pounding pressure, and then there's times when you don't. And
Right.
that's when this bait shines.
Pressure.
Pressure. Fishing pressure, high
Barometric.
barometric pressure, falling water temperatures. Those types of things are the time when this bait really shines. It's been on the tournament trail. It's been a dominant tool in the springtime. And that's when John Cox kind of, brought it to light. And terrific little subtle bait that will generate strikes from big fish under a variety of conditions, but especially in those high pressure situations like we talked about. And these guys are 20% off the entire stock right here at Tackle Direct. Get them while you can. 20% off. It's roughly $2 off that bait, but great little bait. And it's made such a huge splash. Oh my gosh, when it came on the scene, it just made a monster splash. You have a lot of experience. I was surprised about that. You've really dove into the crankbait side of things.
I have.
And that's surprising to me. I didn't know that about you.
I actually have to credit the Bash U for that directly, because I was able to get my hands on a few of these baits, the Fritz side, in 2020 when we were doing classroom seminars. And that was like when they first came out, or maybe it was 21, somewhere in there. But I had my hands on a few. We had them as giveaway items, and we get to try them out too. So I got to throw in that bait. Justin, our good friend Justin Kimmel, professional fish head, he put me onto that and said, man, you need to put this in your hand and just throw it and start to understand it. And for me, it was an early springtime tool, throwing it on the upper bay, the gravelly banks, around the wood, pretty much anywhere I thought there would be fish, I was mixing that thing in, and it catches them. It really does.
It does, and it reminds me of one of the greatest, the Rapala DT6, which is another fantastic all-around crankbait,
which they still eat.
Yeah, well, it's just
Never
different.
stopped.
It's different, it's different conditions. It's won a couple classics, but I remember the Randy Howe Classic, which was infamous to us because we had Rapala had a whole giveaway at our Bash U classes, and it was the DT6 was there in demon color.
Right.
And Randy grabbed a couple that he wanted, and they looked good, and he wound up getting a couple bites at practice and during the tournament on that exact bait that he took off the Bash University table.
It's such a fish catcher.
Yeah.
The Demon DT6 is such an absolute fish catching bait. And, one of the things I love about it is guys put it down. Guys put it down after the early spring and they kind of forget about it. I got news for you. They're still eating it.
Yeah.
Even in the late spring, in the summer, fall, early fall, late fall. If you have the right watercolor, they're gonna bite.
And it's got a little bit more of a presence in the water, cast like a dream. It's got a rattling chamber, and it's 20% off here at Tackle Direct. So their entire DT6 stock is also available.
The best size for a 3 to 5 foot Fritz side. For me personally, I like the standard one. It's the one that's kind of in the middle. I can just tie it on, throw it in every situation and not have to make those adjustments. But with that being said, you do always have to let the fish talk to you, right? You gotta listen to what they're saying. If you're seeing some signs that maybe they're on bigger bait, or maybe they're just getting the back hook, that might mean maybe you need to go downsize. Maybe the bait's smaller, depending on fishing pressure. There's a lot of different factors that can go into it, but I think the standard size, it's a good starting point, right? To make your adjustments off of that. How about you, Pete?
That's great. It's a great answer. It's a great question. Who's had that question? Mark Shannon. Appreciate you, Mark. And I like that the original is designed to run great in that depth zone. And what I like about the bigger one, you can get it a little bit deeper if you want to, but I just want to remind you guys that your rod angle, your rod position can dictate the depth that bait's going to run. So even though you have a bait like this one, which is on the slightly larger side, it's going to run a little bit deeper, but by keeping your rod up, you can run this bait in 2 feet of water. And that's huge. We've been studying a lot about the bait movements in the fall at Bash U. If you've been listening to our live, it's a lot, obviously it's fall all over the country. So the shad's moving early in the season. The little bait, right? The smaller size potato chip bait is starting to really make their move. And that's when it becomes that the smaller size is going to be prevalent. As you get later in the fall, those big gizzards start showing up, the bigger bait, and that's when you're actually going to want to upsize your bait as you get deeper into that season, into the fall season. So, yeah, that depth zone, I agree with you, Rich. But you can use your rod. You can make these baits do a lot. Believe me, I can make a 10-foot crankbait with my rod straight up in the air. I love that John Cruz Cashin rod. By the way, that's on sale, 20% off the Cashin rod line, 20% right now. Use the code BASHULIVE22. But that 711, that deep cranking rod, I use it with the shallow baits because it allows me to run like those lipless baits that we like to throw this time of year. I love to use that rod with that bait because it works so well with things. So great bait. We started out with the Fritz side. I'm going to go to one right now because I know this is going to be a home run for everybody watching, because this is a #1 seller here at Tackle Direct. I know all you guys know what this is. This is the jackhammer. Check it out. I know this bait, it retails for $15.99, so it's quite a good break with the discount you're going to get today. You got to have them. I know I was resistant to buy a $15, $16 lure when they came out.
Right.
And now I own about $3,000 worth of them.
Sure.
Because it's such a powerful tool. It's such a versatile weapon. And it even surprises me at times when you can win with it and times when you shouldn't. We both fished the Bassmaster Open on the Chesapeake. I would have never bet that the ChatterBait was going to win that tournament. And sure enough, it did, because
especially where it did.
It's like the moving bait bite for me. My practice led me to the flipping pattern, which was great, right? That slow crawfish oriented, looking different than the shad kind of pattern was what helped me do well. But the winner, was using a chatterbait, using a shad colored chatterbait and getting those fish to react.
Caught some key fish.
Caught some
on that chatterbait on the final day. He
especially
absolutely
on
did.
the final day. So this is the jackhammer. B Height played a big role of this. You can check out Brat Height's seminars on Bash University about the chatterbait. He is the OG. He's the designer of this bait. Really started this all. I fished against him when he was when this was at its peak, getting it done in those tournaments down on the Kissimmee chain and the Florida Lakes. That's really where it kind of made its headway back then. And it was just the most amazing thing, because he would come in with bags of fish that were heads and shoulders above what the rest of us were doing.
Right.
And it's a great all around bait. If you guys don't know what this is, man, this is a vibrating jig category. It has a big presence in the water. It's very versatile. It can be fished through grass, a little tricky around wood because it'll hang up, but there's some weedless versions. But it's a really, really good all around bait. And I know my co-host over here has a love affair with this bait like no other.
That's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. I don't know how much of an affair it is. It's kind of just a one-way street. I love it. And especially this color that they pulled off the shelf, the bruised green pumpkin. For me, this color is really, really, really special, because you get the best of both worlds, right? You get the black and blue on the top, and then you get the traditional green pumpkin on the bottom. And with your trailer, you can manipulate the color of the bait even a little bit more. I like to throw the Gary Yamamoto Seiko as a trailer, and sometimes I'll go with the Seiko color that matches this bait, which the Seiko color is actually called the Seiko. But they also make a green pumpkin trailer and a black and blue trailer. And depending on, how I want that bait to come across in the water, I'll vary that trailer a little bit. But as Pete was saying, this is just an absolute fish catching bait. It gets it done almost 365, really, for me. If I see a 4 on my graph, if there's a 4 in front of and there's any number after it, I feel pretty good about picking this bait up and being able to make a fish react to bite it. And you may not get a
when
ton
you see a 4, you mean depth?
I mean temperature.
Oh, okay.
So I pretty much from 41.
I got you.
41 and up. I feel like I can throw this bait and get some bites. And like we talked about last week, if you tuned into the show, there are some tricky things you can do with chatterbaits as far as your your blade colors and your color combinations to make fish react that typically wouldn't react to anything else. And it really goes against the grain of what we think of as fishermen as far as conditions dictating a bait. It's one of those things, like, they don't have a choice but to eat this bait when it gets close enough to them, especially if you're making the bait get crazy, making them react.
Yes.
And it catches big fish, and you can chuck it, you can wind it, you can cover water. Absolute fish catcher. No surprise to me at all that this is one of the highest selling baits. Evergreen jackhammer.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brett Height. Your design has won me more money
Height.
than any bait in my box. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Scott just swiped the ChatterBait. I love the trailer stuff. I use a couple trailers that are unique to me. I think they're important, and I use a skinny dipper.
Yep.
And I use that trailer a lot, especially when I'm in the spring of the year or late, because when I'm trying to get a big imitation of a bait.
Yep.
I use some odd color combinations. I use a black and white color combination that is just like you wouldn't. I don't know why it works, but we fish around catfish a lot on the bay, and for some reason I think that's what it looks like.
Right.
They wolf that color certain times a year, and when I'm fishing around a bluegill, like when they're really close to the spawning time or post spawn, and I want that bluegill imitations, I shorten it up to the money minnow, the 3.5-inch little money minnow, and I dip the tail chartreuse, and I'm trying to look like a bluegill.
Right.
And so those are some pretty big deals for me. One of the things I want you guys to check out at bashu.tv is Carl Jochimson's seminar about using the heavy vibrating jigs. Shell bed fishing off the edges of the grass in that 10-12 foot zone. Guys are doing this a lot on the Tennessee River, on the shell beds, fishing slow and deep with the heavier versions of this bait.
Yeah, it's much more than a grass bait. It really, you can do a lot more with that bait than a grass. And you mentioned that Z-Man, they do make a weedless version of the ChatterBait. It's very similar, but there are some differences to the jackhammer and the Z-Man cross eyes. But I'm here to tell you, and I probably shouldn't be saying this for people who watch it, if you can really master and understand how to fish the traditional jackhammer through laydowns and on shallow cover with wood, you will be scared by the bites that you get from that. So take that for what it is. Don't think that just because there's not a weed guard on that thing that you can't throw it around shallow cover, because you can, and the big ones will absolutely eat it. So.
Well, that's good advice, and guys, I want to mention that, of course, Bass University's having a sale, and you got to go check this out. It makes an amazing gift if for you or for a fisherman to get full access to BassU.tv going on right now. You can take a 50-day free trial, or it's $50 off. It's a $99 sale, and guess what that comes with? A $75 gift card for right here at Tackle Direct. That's huge.
Can't beat it.
It's thank you, Tackle Direct, because that's such an amazing opportunity, and so many people are taking advantage of it now for the holidays and buying it for themselves, buying it for someone that they know that loves to fish. So spread the word on that, because it's while supplies last, and we still have supplies right now. So take advantage of it while you can. Say it again. And our hats are for sale. That's awesome. We have the Tackle Direct is now carrying the Bass University hats. This is one I'm wearing. You're too, Rich. This is one of our most popular. This is the OG Bass University hat. This is the one that got it all started. These are 20% off using that code that's right there, BassU Live 22. And for all you hunters, this is everybody's fave that's getting out in the woods.
That's a lucky hat too. That color is a lucky one.
That's your lucky hat.
No, the camo is my lucky, but that's a lucky one for a lot of guys I know. That's Justin Kimmel. That was his lucky hat for a long time, and there's been some tournaments won in that orange hat. I promise you that.
So they're all lucky to us.
Yep.
So take advantage of it. That's going on right now. Makes a great gift. We're talking about vibrating jigs. I want to bring up another one because this is the Slobberknocker. This was brought out by Berkley and not too long ago. This has only been out on the market for maybe a year, maybe two. Not long.
This year. Yep.
This year it got launched, and it's a different style of vibrating jig, but a top seller here at Tackle Direct. It's $13.99, 20% off that for their inventory. The difference here is that the blade is sort of molded differently into the head of the bait. Different sound, different vibration. So for, when you're fishing around a lot of guys throwing a jackhammer or throwing some of the common chatterbait, this is going to have a different sound, a different vibration, give the fish a little something different to look at. And it's one of their best sellers. I think you've spent a little time with this bait.
I have, Pete. And one of the biggest things that I've noticed about throwing this, and you already mentioned it, is the way the blade is molded into the head. There's less of a pivot point on this bait than there is the jackhammer. And basically what that does is it allows the bait to fish through and around and over cover differently than the jackhammer. And I'm going to do my best to describe this. The jackhammer comes through grass like a dog shakes water off its coat when it gets out of a pool. It just comes straight through. It stays on the line it's at, and the grass spreads out, right? Now, with this head design, what this allows the bait to do is it will actually allow the bait to ride over cover more and kind of take a more upwards angle. And sometimes that matters, right? If the fish is sitting on the other side of a grass clump, they may be in a really positive feeding mood where the bait coming through, blasting through like a tank coming through a city, they eat that, right? Because they want to eat everything. Other times that may push a fish away, right? Because it's just too much. But this bait, you can do some things with it that make it a little bit more subtle, right? You can get it to fish around and over tops of cover more so that you give those fish a different look as far as how the bait is being presented to them. It does fish very well around wood cover, around anything that would normally be hangy. And like I said, with the grass fishing, it definitely has a different sound. It has a different vibration, and it's going to come over and through grass differently than the jackhammer does. That's my short version take on it. Like we talked about it. It's only been out since ICAST of this past year, so we haven't thrown it a ton, but there definitely is some differences, and they do eat it. This was a big player in Keith Poche's win on the Red River in the Bassmaster Open.
That's right.
We had the chance to interview him after that win, and that Berkley Slobberknocker got him a lot of key bites.
Yep, you guys can go check that out at bashu.tv. On all of our live shows are there for you guys to go back and review. So check that out. The Slobberknocker, another great bait, bestseller. Go Ryan Lambert of kayak fishing fame. Hey Ryan, good to have you guys hanging out and watching with us. But look for some interesting stuff coming from Ryan pretty soon. But we're gonna keep that on the down low. Who did that? Mr. Higgs, $100 in Slobberknockers. That a boy. That's $20 off. Guys, so much is going. We got so many good baits here, and this is one that that I have some experience with. I know people know that I despise the drop shot. I really don't. That's just kind of a made up thing, but I use it. I don't use it as much as I should, but this is a bait that I started using this year, and this is the Berkley flatworm, and it's huge. This is the Max Scent Berkley flatworm, and this is a bulk pack. This is a retail price of $19.99 for this bulk pack, but of course that's almost $4 off that bait. That's a $16 pack. That's a huge deal. The inventory here at Tackle Direct, that's available to all you guys right now. And this bait, really, it changed the way a lot of us fish for smallmouth. Fishing up at the last couple years. I mean, I was trying. I had a open up at Lake Ontario, Thousand Islands. It was, I guess, not the past season, but the season before. You could not get these. You still can't. You can't get these baits. Most places are sold out of them right now, especially in the bulk pack. It's available right here. So, and it's on sale. So check it out. But we looked everywhere for these baits.
Right.
I mean, we were calling in all our favors to all the sales reps and industry contacts. Can we get some? Can we get some? Thank you, Pure Fishing. Brat over at Pure Fishing hooked me up with just enough to get through my tournament, and just caught smallmouth after smallmouth. Most amazing thing that I've seen. You could throw this bait at a smallmouth that had turned its nose up at a lot of other weapons, and that max scent, especially that flatworm, would get the bite. And so it's a tremendous little drop shot bait. It's made its name for smallmouth, but it's also an amazing largemouth bait. Really, the max scent really changed a lot, since it came out in the last couple of years. Do you throw you started out being a drop shot guy, and something radically changed.
Something radically changed.
You got like the Hulk got a nuclear exposure or something, and now it's all power fishing for you.
That's right.
You started out with a drop shot.
I did, and I definitely throw the flatworm quite a bit, especially like you said, Pete, for smallmouth. But it works for largemouth too. Like don't even get it twisted. Largemouth will eat this bait as well. One of the cool things I have played with, and I credit to some of my buddies, my good friend Rob Wilworth. He actually started doing it first. We started putting this thing, and he's gonna be mad at me for telling this, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it. We put this thing on a light Ned head, and that flat bottom on a Ned head with the wire weed guard, it does something differently in the water. The way it slides down through, and it gets big.
It's like a mini shaky head.
Yeah, it's like a mini shaky head. You can use it on a Ned. It gets a lot of bites in a lot of scenarios. I mean, and it's the scent on these things are unbelievable, right? Like, there's no question to me anymore of, does scent matter? The answer is yes, right? The science says that scent matters, and there's too many experiences where you see it, where the scent matters, whether that's around the spawn or that's around fishing pressure or fish that just don't want to eat. Use every tool you have at your disposal, and this is just another one. The Berkley Max Scent, it helps you get more bites, and they hold on to it when they put this thing in their mouth. So
we just got invited to the Berkeley facility next year to go check out. I know they do things really scientific. We've had them on talking about the Max Scent when it first came out, and the way that they go about testing and analyzing the effectiveness of a bait is so different and than the way a lot of companies do it. I'm really excited to have the opportunity to get out at their facility. Hopefully we can get those schedules worked out and get out there this year. So looking forward to that. But check this out, bulk bait, bulk pack, $19.99. It's a $16 pack of baits, guys. Huge sale. Make sure you stock up because they're going to be out come spring.
That's the deal, right? We're in the wintertime. We're not drop shotting for smallmouth right now. We're not thinking about it, right? But come June, July, when you go up north for that smallmouth trip and you're looking in your box like, oh man, I only got 1 pack of flatworms. Guess what? Stock up on them now because you're going to use them.
You're going to use them.
To talk about this.
Hey, Instagram guys. We're live everywhere else, but we have a 20% off here at Tackle Direct. Use the code BASHULive22. All these baits that we're talking about, the casts and rods, 20% off. Use that code. It's 24 hours only. 24 hours only. Tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern time, it's off. So get your carts filled up, guys. This one's cool, right? This is a marriage of missile baits and robo worm. And this is something new that has just come out, and it's really cool because we got a seminar about this worm that hasn't even hit Bashu TV yet. But this is the magic worm from Missile Baits. This is a tremendous drop shot bait that Missile has put together, like you said, in conjunction with RoboWorm. And the colors are amazing. The action of the worm is fantastic. And a guy that I would have never thought would be giving us a seminar about how to use this drop shot tool gave it to us just about a month ago, and we're editing. It's going to be released. Is Brian Schmidt. We all know him for his ability to read grass, his ability to throw a swim jig and a vibrating jig. He is the best on the planet, and we have content we released. His vibrating jig seminar. It's available on Bass University TV. But this bait, this technique, drop shotting in the grass for largemouth. Drop shotting in the grass for largemouth. He said some things that just blew my hair back.
Yep.
I know you were there.
Yep.
Talking about the fact that this is basically one of his secret weapons, one of his ways to survive, and really thrive when conditions get tough in the grass.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the amazing things about Missile Baits is that John Cruz is kind of the one that's behind all of it. Well, he is. He's the president. He's the founder. He's all that. And Johnny has had a tremendous tournament career. Just got another win this past year.
Two-time Elite Series champ.
On the Elite Series, St. John's River. We were there for that. That was pretty awesome.
His most impressive professional credential is his commentating on me on falling in the water there in the Open.
He kept us up to date on the status of Pete's pants drying out at the Open. And Johnny, that was huge. We're forever indebted to you for that. But this bait, man, it's like I said, Johnny is the one that's pushing the buttons for Missile Baits, and he flat out knows. He knows that things get tough out there on the tournament trail. You can't always throw the ChatterBait. You can't always flip the big weight. You got to mix in other things to get bites when the conditions get tough. And whether you're throwing this on a drop shot, whether you're throwing it on a shaky head, whether you're wacky rigging it, Nico rigging it, there's so many different things you can do with this to get a bite. And the colors on these are really, really nice. I like this one a lot. It's kind of got that morning dawn type of color, maybe a little darker, and it's John's Juice. So, guys, check them out. Missile Baits, the magic worm. You can get them right here, right now. Tackle Direct.
Yeah, this is a bait, and like I said, you want to check this out because we're going to be releasing Brian Schmidt's seminar about how to drop shot for largemouth in the grass. Really terrific tool. One of our Bass U subscribers, Brooks Parker. Shout out to Brooks. Is fishing in the college program down in Alabama, and he brought this to my attention. He was the first one to bring it to my attention as a very, very effective drop shot tool. And then I see Brian Schmidt winning with it.
Right.
Credits a lot of what he did on the Mississippi River this year to get the W. As using this tool to catch some key fish and be able to catch those fish when things go south.
Yep.
Because you know how hard it is when you're jamming them on a lipless or a swim jig or a vibrating jig. It's hard to put that down.
Right. It's hard to put it down, but you know what? There's always a few fish that you're leaving behind if you don't show them something different, right? Just because you're sticking them on a ChatterBait or swim jig or something else. Mix in something when the bite gets slow. Mix something else in. See if there's that extra fish there that may surprise you when it shows up heavy. So,
Power bait Paul.
He's out there fishing. He's a diehard.
I love it. He's like, that's so awesome. He's fishing and watching Bass U Live. It's like that's the same thing I do. I'm fishing and I watch Bassmaster Live or Major League Fishing. I have it on while I'm fishing. I can't get enough of this stuff. But I know you're like me. I know you are, Paul. But this is another bestseller.
Yeah.
And this comes from 13 Fishing, and this is a really cool bait. This is a jabberjaw crankbait. It's a square bill, but it has a really, really unique feature in that the lip in the bait is not fixed. It enables the lip to move and vibrate and make a noise that is very, very unique. It has a tremendous action in the water, and it is one of the best sellers here at Tackle Direct. It's a $12 bait. That's 20% off the the whole inventory here at Tackle Direct. So you want to definitely check these out. I know I'm a crankbait guy. I love fishing a square bill, and I use a variety of square bills. One of my square bills that I like a lot is the DT Fat, which is a Rapala bait. It's a balsa bait. It's high buoyancy bait. It casts really well. It's silent. This bait is making a lot more noise, has a bigger presence in the water, and is very, very unique. And a lot of guys are using this to catch a lot of fish. So I look forward to getting this bait in my arsenal. What I do love most about this bait that I'm holding right here is this is one of my all-time best colors. This is chartreuse with a black back and an orange belly. I have been using this coast to coast to catch fish. I don't know whether it looks like a bluegill, whether it looks like a perch. I don't know what it's trying to resemble, but it's one of those things. But I can tell you this: the fish can see it. They can see it in a lot of different watercolors, like whether you're stained, muddy. This is a great color to throw. Really, really cool little bait, the Jabberjaw. Have you made some casts with this?
I have. I've made some casts with the Jabberjaw, with some other similar style baits that have the moving bill. And I think one of the key things about that bait is it's all about showing fish something different sometimes, right? Like just these little subtle changes, whether that's the sound, whether that's the vibration, whether that's the action, or all of those things combined. That's what's going to get you bites sometimes when the fishing pressure's high, the conditions are tough, you're fishing behind people. You got to mix it up. You got to show them something different. And until you throw it, you don't know how effective it's going to be. And this bait, undoubtedly, it's going to have a time. It's going to have a place. And like you, Pete, I'm excited to mix this one into my arsenal even further this coming year.
Yeah, it's the time. It's really a beautiful bait from 13 Fishing. It's a bestseller, and that happens for a reason, guys, because people are catching them on it. By the way, we're going to be giving away all this stuff, man. It's really cool. If you're watching on social, like us, share us. We got a like and share going on over at Facebook, so check that out. And we're also pay attention, guys. At the end of the show, we're going to be asking you a question about something that we talked about today, and we're if you get that question right, we're going to be hooking you guys up with man, we're giving away a cash and fishing rod, and we're giving away all these lures that we're talking about. So make sure you pay attention to all that stuff. By the way, I know I mentioned it before, I'm saying it again: if you're not a subscriber, get over to bashu.tv. That's where our grand prize is going to be given away to one of our subscribers. So you would definitely want to get over there, get yourself signed up if you haven't yet. It's 50 days free. The best deal right now is our holiday deal. It's $50 off, and you get a $75 Tackle Direct coupon. It's amazing deal. You got to go check it out. Get yourself signed up. We're going to be giving away that stuff, including this Jabberjaw. So we're going to chuck that one in and see what we have next. This is another bait. I'm guilty of this. Like Rich, I have a tendency to be the last guy to throw the new tool. I'm like, I'm the old guy. I know I get set in my ways, and I'm guilty about it. And I try to get the new stuff folded in and using it all the time. Because it's like I had an experience with I told this story many times with the jackhammer. I waited too long, and Bret Hite had already won like $500,000 before I figured out. And Brian Thrift was another one. Those two guys were just cleaning house with it before and I had it, but I just didn't throw it yet. This is one in that category that I've had and I've not thrown. And this is a bestseller here at Tackle Direct. And this is the Sleeper Gill, the dark sleeper. This is a sleeper gill, one of the best sellers here at Tackle Direct. And this is a $10 bait. It's on sale. It's got $2 off. This bait, I mean, it looks so much like a bluegill. I know guys are using it around the spawn. They're using it to catch fish that are guarding their nests. They're using it like a jig. It's a combination of a jig and a swim bait. It's weedless. There's so many really cool features to this bait. I haven't made a cast with it yet.
Neither have I, Pete, but we definitely ought to, because Honestly, this is for now. It's the first time I'm actually seeing one in person, and the components on it are phenomenal. I mean, Miss Megabass does not make a bad bait in any category. Everything that they make it's high quality components. Their attention to detail. So, that's something that, I mean, it's a swim bait, right? Swim baits catch fish all the time,
Yep.
all over the planet, coast to coast. Swim baits catch them, and this is just a swim bait that looks exactly like a bluegill. So, big bass eat bluegills. Got to be throwing this sleeper gill, Pete. We got to do that this year.
I know. Well, now that it's in my hands, this may or may not make it into the box that we're giving away. I'm not sure. It might not, because I've been hearing about it. I've been getting pounded about it by guys. Like, you got to try this bait. It's selling out everywhere, and it's bestseller here at Tackle Direct. So if you want to try that like me, this is a great time to do it. Take advantage of our sale. By the way, that's Bash You Live 2022. Here's another category of bait that is very similar to one of the other categories that did I block the Instagram feed? Threw my coffee right in there. Sorry, guys. The one I just talked about? I would say yes. Now like a lot of the exposure that I've had to the bait, and let me I'm going to preface that I'm not an expert on this bait, but it's a bait that can fish slow and low, which is really what you want out of a bait this time of year. And so I would say the fall is a great time to work that bait into your arsenal and give it a go. It's a swim bait. It's all about bait fish in the fall. It's I would say it's a great weapon to explore. But we haven't had a speaker talk about it, and I don't have any experience with it, guys. But it's a unique bait, and that's what I really like
Right.
about it. Is it does things that a lot of the baits that we're talking about here do not do, in a way that they can't do.
And the
So
bluegill shape is definitely coming in. The soft bodied bluegill style bait is definitely starting to make a push as far as a fish catching bait. And in that category, we do have one from Ike. Ike goes pretty deep on the Berkeley Gilly style bait, which is not exactly the same to that one, but it's very similar. So definitely, if you're wanting to kind of dip your toes in the water a little bit and see what the bluegill style soft baits are about, check that one out from Ike. That's on bashu.tv, about the Gilly soft sunfish style baits.
Yep. This is another potato chip style flat side bait. This is from Strike King. This is the Chick Magnet. Now, we had a promotion with the Chick Magnet with Bash University earlier in the season. A lot of guys love this bait. It's a really great flat side. This category of bait is, like we talked about earlier, is a category of bait that can get bites when the big thumping chatterbaits, the big spinnerbait, when those things are not producing because of fishing pressure, weather, high pressure, this is the bait that you're going to want to go with. And this is one of the best sellers. This is a new bait from Strike King, and this is one of the best sellers here at Tackle Direct. Once again, a $10 plug. That's 20% off their stock here. And this is a great little shad color, which I like, because this time of year, no matter where you're at, reservoirs across the country, river systems like we fish a lot, you're seeing a lot of this little bitty shad that's really it's got white. When you look at them close, they can get purple and green hues to them. You see a lot of that little bait this time of year, and this is what you're gonna try to replicate when you're fishing this bait. So another flat side making the top list at Tackle Direct.
Yeah, for sure. This one is unique in its own right. We talked about the Fritz side earlier. This is a similar bait, but it's a little bit different. The bill style is different. This is a rounded bill, where the Fritz side has more of a sharp edge, almost similar to a square bill, but not exactly. This is a bait that it's a fish catcher. There's other baits that are similar to this in its own category. The Rapala OG series, that's a bait that Ott Defoe designed, and this bait is very similar to that. It really seems to get it done in certain parts of the country, but it really gets it done everywhere. This bait was obviously designed for Chickamauga. That's why it's called the Chick Magnet. So if you're in that part of the world, that part of the country, you definitely want to give these a check out. They're fish catching baits. That's why they are a top seller here at Tackle Direct.
Outstanding, guys. We've got a lot more to talk about here. Do you want to take a quick break?
Yeah, we can take a break.
Let's take a quick break. We're gonna collect some more baits that we're excited about. We're gonna be talking about my picks and Rich's picks for our tackle that we used in 2022 that were big deals for us. So we're going to come back with that. We're going to give away some prizes and have some more fun. It's a holiday season, guys. So hang in there with us. We're going to be right back after these messages on Instagram and TikTok.
What's going on? It's Riz here from the Bass University, and I am excited to welcome in Waterwood Custom Baits to the Bashu family. These are custom handmade baits in the South Rainforest of Brazil. They're made of Marupa pedra wood. It's extremely dense, it's resistant, but it's also really buoyant. They're made of quality components with a 100% guarantee. They're made for tournament anglers to get it done when the money is on the line. Guys, that was like my second cast with this bait. That's a Waterwood custom bait. These things are handmade in the rainforest south of Brazil. And I mean, as you can see right here, it's a fish catching bait. It's got the front hook. That means they wanted it. This bait's, it's running really true. It throws really well. Guys, check them out at waterwoodcustombaits.com.
BassBoatForSale.com is the world's premier bass boat listings business. We focus on driving premium web traffic to our main website, business Facebook page, business Instagram, and our business YouTube channel, providing your bass boat listings the best buying traffic and top-notch exposure. Whether you need to sell your bass boat or are looking to buy a bass boat, it's simple. We give boats exposure so buyers shop and sellers list. One-time listing fee, no commission, and boats list until they sell. BassBoatForSale.com. Check it out.
AquaView, the leader in underwater viewing technology. Find what you are looking for. Catch more fish. Have more fun. AquaView. Seeing is believing.
Why do you love casting fishing rods?
I'm truly losing less fish.
It is the sensitivity of the rod.
That they're made right here in North Carolina in the USA. Strongest, lightest rod, 100% bait here in Sanford, North Carolina.
From the drop shot rod to the flipping stick, every rod has a purpose to it, and I rely on them all the time when I'm out there in a tournament.
Durability in the John Cruz Wormman series, the counterbalancing in the handle.
It's the only rod I found that can withstand my hook set. Boom goes the dynamite.
On the water, not spent fishing is a moment wasted. That's why Minn Kota and Humminbird have joined forces to bring you the One Boat Network. Products that communicate and integrate to help you take full command of your boat. Born from our commitment to making the most advanced fishing gear even better by making it work together, the One Boat Network will help you find, get to, stay on, and catch more fish. When One Boat Network products talk to each other, they can navigate your boat automatically. They can give you a crystal clear view of what's below with no messy wires. And they can let you lower, raise, and change shallow water anchor modes from anywhere on the boat. But that's just the beginning. We're never done innovating, integrating, and making your boat simpler, and easier to control. All so you can make every second on the water count.
All right, welcome back to Bash U Live, guys, from the TackleDirect studios. We just had a break there where we're talking about nothing but tackle because we're in TackleDirect headquarters. There's fishermen all over the place. We're hearing about 10-pound bass, Delaware River bass. I can't get enough of it. I love it.
Check out, we just met Ronald, full of love. I love that. He makes his own custom crankbaits here. He's hanging out, watching us, and talking fishing on the Delaware River.
Yeah.
For crying out loud. How
How
rare is that to be bumping into somebody that enjoys the Delaware River like we do?
It really is, especially when you're not close to the river. You know, if we were talking to somebody close to the Gloucester ramp, yeah, I would understand that. But, you know, it's definitely cool to bump into another river rat. And, man, I miss the Delaware. I miss it so much. You know, I moved to
Maryland.
Bummer
for you. You got to go catch 4-pounders instead of the Delaware
to the Chesapeake
twos.
this year,
Bummer.
and I don't get out on that river anymore, and I miss it. It's fun, but you know, it is what it is. You know, I haven't made a cast anywhere other than the Chesapeake this year since June when I was at St. Lawrence. The only place I fished is the Chesapeake Bay.
That's amazing.
For the whole year. So
that's really crazy. Wow. I don't know that I've ever had a year like that. But I love fishing down there, obviously, and you know, it's such a great place to fish. And congratulations, you and Eric just had a big win down on the Chesapeake in a team tournament down there. But epic Eric. Shout out to Epic Eric. Huge TackleDirect discount going on, guys. 20% off for 24 hours. If you're just tuning in, it's 24 hours. It ends at 11 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. So take advantage of it while you can. Use that code BashULive 2022. And all the stuff that we're talking about here today is going to be discounted. There are a few exclusions. Now let's dive into some of the baits. We're going to save this for your picks. Okay. We're going to talk about some of the baits that were important to me this year, and I think I'm going to start with this one right here, which is a really cool bait. And a lot of you guys know what this bait is, right? This is the Whopper plopper. This bait, James Watson. Check out Bash U TV on the Whopper plopper. We got another great spoon seminar on Bash University TV from James Watson, which is going to be revealed real soon. But he made this famous, in my opinion. You know, there's a lot of people that had a role in it, but he won some big derbs doing it. He influenced my son, Jake Gluzak. Just got dialed in on the plopper this year. And he would just pilfer my tackle collection. He would go in there. He'd grab one. He'd go over to the farm pond or the golf course pond and our park pond across the street, and he would jack them all late post spawn and summer with this exact one.
That's awesome.
The bone colored. This is if I had to guess, this is a 3-inch. There's so many different sizes, but he was dialed into the bone color. And he just ripped them up, just caught so many different fish, so much so that he got me throwing it more this year than I had ever thrown it, in recent times. But I just want to give a shout out to Jake. It's a tremendous little tool. Now, this is the mini version. They have I don't know the names of it, but it's more of a egg-shaped, bigger bodied but short version, which Jake and I have experimented with, done real well with, and of course the full size 90, and I think it's 130 that I use a lot, and I've used it on Chesapeake and had some great success this year. As a matter of fact, Jake and I fished a tournament on the Chesapeake, and our first fish that came in the boat came on a Whopper plopper, the full size. And the odd part about it was the smallest fish we caught that day. You think you're throwing for giants all the time when you're throwing these style of baits, but
hey, if it gets bites, it gets bites. You know.
Yep. I love it. The bone color is key. I don't know what it is about that, but I love the bone color. You
For
throw
sure.
this much?
I do. I throw a Whopper plopper. I probably don't throw it as much as I should. I get frustrated by it a lot with the, with the floating grass that we deal with on the upper bay. But I definitely do throw it. And like you said, it gets bit. And a lot of times when you get bit on that thing, you get bit big because, frankly, it's hard to throw around floating eelgrass that we deal with. But if you can fish it and you can be persistent enough to throw it and pull the grass off it 900 times, when you do get one to come up to it, chances are it's going to be a heavy one.
We deal with that. You guys know what we're talking about. You try to throw that around the falling leaves in the fall.
Sure.
You got the same issue because it will wrap it up. And I remember the first time I was dealing with it when it first came out. Like when I first became aware of it, I was throwing it out on a training trip on.
So like
on,
6 years after it was released.
No, I try to get ahead of these things, but it doesn't always work. But I was ahead of that one. I liked it, and anyway, when I was out training, we were floating grass everywhere, and I wanted to see what it did, what it sounded like, and you'd make one crank, and then you'd get eelgrass folded on it, and you'd have to reel it in. And after about 3 casts of this, I'm like, wow, the bait sounds really cool when it works, when it's in open water.
Right.
But I'm making a bomb cast, and I get 2 cranks, and it's done. And I made a 4th cast, I'm done with this. This is too frustrating. And I made 1 crank, and a 5-pounder came up and ate it.
Sure.
Before it got you fouled into the grass.
Okay,
again.
this works.
I was like, okay, well, we're going to deal with the grass. We're going to switch over to braided line. Great little trick, guys, to deal with that kind of situation. Switching over to braid will allow you to snap and clear that bait a lot better. Going over to the braided line. But what
you got,
Josh?
Josh?
That one?
Yes, absolutely. A Whopper plopper is a Whopper plopper is 100% something you can throw from the bank. I mean, topwater fishing when you're fishing from the bank is a very, very effective way to fish, because when you're fishing topwater, whether you're on the bank or you're on a boat, you're presenting your bait the same, right? Because it's a topwater, right? If you're fishing a crankbait coming up the slope as opposed to down the slope, is going to be a little different. But a topwater bait is going to be fished the same. And Whopper plopper do work. They work from the bank. And one of the reasons I know that is a lot of times when you see a lure stuck in a tree, oftentimes it's a Whopper plopper. So you know that since guys are throwing them, I'm not even poking fun at that. Since you continuously see something over and over and over, it means it works. So to answer your question emphatically, yes, a Whopper plopper does work from the bank.
100%. Great question. That's what Jake does. I mean, he goes to the bank, he goes to the golf course pond, he goes to the park pond, and fishing from the bank. You know what? This was a little crazy thing that I observed with him. When you're fishing from the bank, you're casting like you're not quite as efficient at being able to move and like with a trolling motor and like with typically when I would use it, you throw at a piece of cover to the right, to the left, next piece of cover, right, left, next piece of cover. Well, standing on the bank, oftentimes you make repeated casts over and over again. And I cannot tell you how many times me and Jake stood in the same spot throwing this bait for the 50th time. Boom, and we catch the fish.
Right. There's a lesson to be learned from that. And I think it's something that we're all guilty of as fishermen is we'll move off of something too quickly. And we talked about this a little bit a few shows ago with Greg when we were talking about your practice formula, right? And the amazing things that can happen if you just slow down and you be thorough on something.
Yeah.
Maybe you will get that bite that shortcuts the whole process, right? So a lot of times there is a fish there. If you think there's a fish there, there probably is, right? How are you going to make them bite?
Yep. That and repetitive, persistent irritation gets it done. These baits are retail $12.99. That's 20% off using that code BASHULIVE 2022 here at Tackle Direct. Next, what do we got? So many things to talk about. This is a great crankbait. This is the Brat. We had a cool experience with the Brat. I love that experience. We were filming at Bass University Outdoor Studios, Lake X, super secret, top secret. But our own Scott Carlisle started throwing the Brat around and just waylaying them off the wood. There he is with when we were flipping, we were doing a lot of different things, but the crankbait bite was on. And this little bait is it's incredibly durable. It's got a really good presence in the water. I love its profile. It's got a fatter kind of body, great wobble. It just draws strikes really, really well. And this color pattern is one of my faves. And you can see it real close here. I'll show it over to Instagram. It kind of has like a bone, striped sidey thing looking on it. I'm going to take it out of the package so you can see it better.
Yeah, right. One of the
our other
key
channel.
one of the things that we've hit on several times throughout the show is showing the fish something just a little bit different, right? And this crankbait, just by looking at it, you can tell that it is a little bit different in the body shape than pretty much every other square bill in the market. So, showing the fish something a little different. It's a smaller profile bait. It can get down there deep. It's a combination, this bait is, of balsa and a plastic bait. So, you got to mix this into your arsenal if you're not already throwing it. It's a fish catcher. And our man Scott,
And
he
our man
proved it to
Scott.
us. He put this thing on his rod and he just went to town on him. So, yeah, sweeping it across wood. Sweeping it across wood.
You know who's also good at that is Jeff Olson.
Well, Jeff Olson is just a crankbait master. Shout out to Jeff if you're watching. I don't think I've ever been beat by somebody in the back of the boat more than if you put a crankbait in Jeff Olson's hands. It doesn't matter if you're in 120 feet of water or if you're in 4. Jeff is going to catch fish on a crankbait. Doesn't matter where he is in the boat. He's going to flat out catch them.
We all got that friend, that guy that just chunk and winding fishing buddy. You give them a worm or a drop shot and they're confused by it, but you give them a crankbait or a chatterbait and they love that chunking and wind. The Jimmy Houstons of the world are exactly that guy, and Jeff's one of those guys. Loves cranks a wigglewort, one of our favorite crankbaits as well.
Yeah.
But he's you just put a crankbait in his hand, let him go. Next,
ooh, we got a good one here.
This one I can't say enough about. This bait is a sweet bait, and it's a little it's a compact finesse jig, I guess is how you would categorize this. Is how I've called it in the past. And this is the Kitech. I think this is the Model 1. Yeah, I don't know.
Model 1 version 2.
Model 1. Yeah, this is version 2. It's the Model 1 because they have football heads. They have a couple different styles, but this one is the one that I use. I use this around wood, around grass. This is the style. I remember an Bass University on-water training customer got in the boat with me, and his name was Vinny, and he had these jigs, which I looked at. It's like every once in a while as a fisherman, something just strikes you,
right?
And he had a whole box of them, and I hadn't seen them before. This must have been 10 years ago, and I flipped open the box, and it was a little compact. This exact jig, well, not it was the original model, but very, very similar, and it was very heavy, half-ounce compact tungsten with very, very fine skirt.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked at this and I immediately felt like there's so many applications to fish this bait. For me in particular, I'm a current guy. I love to fish in the current, and a lot of times what I always experienced with a variety of baits is you get too much drift. You throw up and the bait's big, bulky, and profile, or not heavy, and it would drifts away from the target. This bait sticks to the target like no other. That big half-ounce allows you to get it right where you want it. Really, no matter how heavy the current is. It has another thing that I was really experimenting a lot with at the time, which was rate of descent, and being able to trigger the bigger bites by falling faster. Like, we think about the importance, and a lot of times falling slow is key. Absolutely the truth. There's a lot of times when that is key, but there's other times when that fast fall will trigger the bite and trigger the big bite. And this had that, right? So it's small, compact. It's doesn't displace a lot of water, falls fast, but it's just a very, very well put together jig. And I had incorporated that day. I incorporated this into my arsenal, and I've gone on to win a lot of money with this bait out on the tournament trail. I use it for fishing for smallmouth, largemouth spots, flipping in heavy cover. Just catching big ones, giants. It's such a small bait that you would think, oh man, it's not a big fish bait, but it really, really is at certain times of year. And this is a Kitech Model 1 jig. It's a $6 bait. It's a pricey. Well, back at the time, it was really, really pricey for a jig, right? Well, you were probably not fishing. You were still young, probably still in elementary school. But but we were getting jigs for, you probably don't remember this, for like $1.99. You know what I mean? So talk to me about a $6 or $7 jig. I'm like, you got to be nuts, because you're going to lose them. You're going to get them in the habitat,
Yep.
But killer bait.
Yeah.
I know you're a convert too.
Yeah, I definitely am. And, this is a unique bait because there's a lot of things you can do with it. Like Pete said, it's a great bait for flipping. It's got a fast fall, super unique skirt. Like you mentioned, the skirt material on this bait is, in my opinion, it's one of the most key factors. And you may look at this bait and look at the hook on it and say, man, that's a small hook. That's scary for a jig, right? Well, guess what? When you put this hook in them, the penetration you get with your hook set and the fish's mouth with that light wire hook is unmatched.
Instant.
It's unmatched, right? And there's so much you can do with it. You can trim the skirt down. You can put smaller. You can make this thing even more compact by trimming the skirt, putting different kinds of trailers on there. One of the things I like to do with it a lot in the cold months, Pete, is I will trim the skirt down to the hook, and I'll use a Z-Man Ned crawl.
Oh,
the
man.
little one that does the rock star sign. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, the rock on crawl.
Tiny. Yep.
Put that thing on there. Woo! It's a good wintertime jig, man. And it's great for flipping. It's great for casting. You can cast that thing out, feather it along the bottom, and when that tungsten jig hits a piece of cover, it sends the feeling straight to your hand. You can tell, is that rock? Is that wood? Is that grass? Super sensitive. It's really, really good all around jig.
Yep, all around, it really is. There's a couple different trailers I like. I started throwing this with a pocket chunk, which was one of my my originals that I like to throw with it. I've used the Rage Crawl quite a bit. That has a big presence in the water. A variety, even the Zoom salty chunk. There's just so much you could do with it. But that heavy tungsten small compact bait, it makes it easy to cast. But like you said with the hook, this is not a heavy duty flipping hook, guys. This is not. This is if I had to say, give it a name, it's a moderate to finesse oriented size. Let's see if we can see it over here. It's probably best over there. So I match my rod accordingly. Like I don't throw this on my flipping stick. I downsize my rod. One of the best rods that I like to use this for is the Cash and multi-purpose rod. It has enough give. It has plenty of backbone and power to drive and manage a big fish, but it's not so overbearing that you're gonna compromise this moderate hook. So, but I don't know. We sing and dance. This is just such a great tool, such a great little bait. Highly recommend it. It's a Kitech jig. Price point is $5.99, and that's 20% off all their stock here at Tackle Direct. So now's the time. That's the other thing that always bugged me is you do lose a lot of them, right? You're going to lose some jigs. So now's the time to get yourself stocked up on these babies, because you're going to go through a lot of them if you fish them a lot like I do. That's in the box, the giveaway box. Next, This bait has is one of the bait that's been real powerful for me, and I used it at the Bassmaster Open. And there it came one bite away. I'm still sweating it. I'm still whining about it, but I'll get over it soon. But no, you're right, Josh. I don't think I'm getting over it. But I use this bait along with a Senko to finish third place in the Bass Open, and I've just been really effective with this weapon all over the country. And this is a Rage Bug. This is a Strike King Rage Bug. There's the packaging. It's $5.39, 20% off that. Their entire selection here at Tackle Direct. You want to get these because these baits are fish catchers. This color is a black and blue fleck, which is great. You can't see it behind my shirt there. Let's get them in. There you can see it. Really dark. You guys can see it on TikTok and over on Instagram. This is black with blue flake. A really great all-around color. You can use this in a lot of different watercolors and be successful. Another color, the color that I was using on the Open, which is green pumpkin with blue swirl. A terrific color. I use that blue swirl a lot because we have the blue claw crabs. I don't know if that matters, but
if it matters to you, it matters.
Exactly. We have that blue crab that molts and the fish will feed on them. And there's something about putting blue in your baits on rivers that are connected to the ocean that, man, it makes a big deal for me. Means a lot. But this bait is one of the things I like so much about it is it's got all these different appendages. It's got 4 different appendages, and this I always forget to do this, so I make a point to tell you. They're attached in the pack, so you got to peel them apart to make them do their deal because the arms will flap, the legs will flap. You got a lot of moving parts there. If you don't do that, it's just a big wad of plastic that goes down, which will still get bites. But I like it because of the moving parts. I also like it because of its mid-range size. Like it's not a big giant jig or hunk of plastic. It's an in-between size and it allows you to get bites from numbers of fish as well as size of fish. Really a great all-around flipping bait that I like a lot. Highly recommend it. Have you use a different one? You use a creature bait too, but you've got a different one you like.
I do. I throw a few different creature baits, but this one, Pete, this style, this exact bait, the rage crawl or rage bug, I think they call it. I actually always keep a Plano box, just a regular size Plano box with every slot filled with this bait. I keep the black and blue, I keep a green pumpkin, and I keep an orange and brown. And that box always stays full because I will flip with this. I'll use it as a trailer on chatterbaits vertically. I'll peel the arms off and use it as a trailer on swim jigs. And honestly, I've found that where we fish on the Chesapeake, this bait, this creature style bait, gets bit better for me than the other creature style baits that I've thrown in the past. This one seems to do the job better. So I keep a box of these ready to go at all times, not stored away with the rest of my soft plastics. I keep this box in my main tackle storage area so that if I'm fishing these baits or I think I need one, I can reach down in there, get one quick. I don't got to take it out of the pack. I have them all laid in the box, nice and tight, so that I can just pull them out, put them on, and use them. It's like I said, it's a fish catcher.
It's fish catcher. It's a really good one. You should put it in your arsenal.
And it smells like coffee.
Yes, maybe that's why I like it so much. I love that.
Might be why the fish like it so much.
Man, maybe there's something about that coffee. Yeah. I heard a story from the guys at Strike King. By the way, we met the Strike King guys down at ASA Summit this year, and they invited us to some of their events this year. I'm looking forward to going there and visiting with those guys. But the deal, it was an accident. Somebody spilled coffee in one of the fish tanks.
Right.
That they were studying their baits in, and the fish erupted. The fish went nuts for it. And I think that's the story. I'm sorry if I got that wrong, but it was by accident, and they injected that scent and flavor into their baits and found out that it's a killer.
That's one of my pet peeves when it comes to baits, Pete, is I want the bait to be, I want it to be full of salt. I want it to have scent. I want it to have the whole deal, so that I have confidence that when that bait goes into a fish's mouth, he's going to hold on to it. Because I know me, if I like coffee and I like salty stuff, right? That tastes good to me. I'm saying that probably tastes good to a fish too. So,
that's funny. If Mike were here, he'd take it down a whole different path. But this is how I rigged this bait. This is the one of the hooks that I use. Now I'll alternate depending. This is a worm hook. This is an offset shank 4/0. This is the hook that I was using during the most recent tournament. And the 4/0 just marries up so nice to this. I know most of you guys probably know how to Texas rig, but I'm going to go in about a 1/4 inch on the bait. I'm going to thread it up on top of the bend of the hook, spin it around, and then I'm going to bend the bait up just a little bit so that hook point, I want to feel that come through, and I kind of want to make a hole for it to come through, and I feel it there, and then I'll bury it back inside. So that's a Texas rig. I used a 3/8 ounce weight. I would flip a 1/2 ounce, 3/4, depending on the habitat. But when you want a creature bait with a lot of moving parts, a lot of action, which I like in the warm water seasons, this is a bait that I'm going to choose. A lot of times I want a bait that doesn't. I love the D-bomb, the beaver style baits. They have less action. They're more glide and oriented baits. They trigger bites in a different way. When you want something that has a lot of moving parts, this bait is a killer. So you want to definitely check this one out. And that's the Rage Bug, green pumpkin, black and blue, orange. That's key. How long does the scent last? That's a great question. Now I know depending on the scent and the product, the dispersion, there is a limit on exactly how long it will continue to deliver scent, and it will eventually run out. I honestly, I don't know, but I can tell you this: when I'm using a soft plastic bait, scent that scent is important to me. If I will put a new bait on. I will constantly replace that bait. If I leave it sit for hours, I'm going to take it off and put a new one on. If I fish it without a bite for hours, I'm going to take it off and put a new one on. If I'm have a rod rigged up in my box, maybe I'll put it away. Sorry, Instagram. As I put it away, I'm gonna put a fresh bait on. I think it's important enough that I change frequently. So I go through them. That's a great question. I think every bait, from max scent to the coffee scent to the variety of other scents that are in baits, they probably have a different time length. But I can tell you this: I'm replenishing my bait often. Great question, though. The garlic is a really popular scent, and my research says garlic is a great cover. Like it covers it covers up your scent,
right?
And that's what I've learned about the garlic scent. So it's really effective that way. It doesn't necessarily draw fish to it, but it keeps all the negative stuff from gas and oil that you may be handling that day to the scent. Because we have a natural fish deterrent that's coming out of our pores. That some people have more of it than others. So if you're one of those guys that doesn't catch any fish, you might be one of those guys that has a lot of that stuff. But so garlic is a great scent. It's a great cover scent. So I recommend it. The
G-Crack. It's kind of in that bluegill style family of bait. It's a real unique shape. It's like a cross almost between like a bluegill style bait and a beaver style bait.
Is this that Billows bait?
Bellows gill.
Bellows
gill.
G-Crack.
Yep.
Yes, I know that bait. I didn't recognize it by name, but thanks for that question. But that's Yeah, it is. It's in the bluegill nature. It's that flat profile. With the big body, flat profile, the bluegill imitation, and it's been our own BTC who we uses that bait to great success. When that first came out, he was all over that, real lightweights,
Yep.
allowing that bait to glide. But yeah, tremendous little tool. That's another real popular bluegill style bait. Great question though. So, and this is the 4/0 Gamakatsu. This is the exact hook that I was using, that I use with my creature bait. So VMC, 3/8 ounce, tungsten weight, VMC bobber stop or weight stop peg. Boom, ready to go. Rich, well, throw it to you.
All right. So the next one we're going to talk about is the Zoom Speedworm. And, truth be told, Pete, the amount of fish I've actually caught on this bait is one. I've caught one fish on this bait, but there's a story behind this one fish. So up until the second day of the Chesapeake Bay Open, I had never thrown, nor had I ever caught a single fish on this bait. But we all know that a bait or getting a bite on things gives you the confidence that you need to throw it. And I can fully say now that I feel like I have mastered this bait after only having caught one fish on it. But the story behind this is on the first day of the Bass Open on the Chesapeake, I was in a grass area that I knew had fish in it. And I went through my whole rotation that day trying to get the fish to bite, and it just was not working. And, luckily at the end of the day, I caught a few big ones on a frog, and I was able to salvage the day, right? But I knew that I needed to do something differently going into the second day to be able to put some more fish in the boat. And I talked to Mike at the service yard. I talked to Ike and Ellie at the service yard, and I told him, I said, man, I think I could catch him on a speed worm, but I don't have any. Do you have any? And he said, yeah, man, here. He gave me a handful of speed worms, a couple different colors. He told me 30 to 40 pound braid, 4/0 hook, 1/8 ounce weight, or 3/16 ounce weight, one of the two. And I put that combination on, and this bait, the speed worm, put the first fish in the boat for me that day on the second day of the Open. And that was super, super important, because what that did was it slowed me down, and it confirmed that there are still fish in the area that I was in. And, albeit I did switch over to some other baits that were more conducive to the conditions for that second day. But this bait is what slowed me down enough to be able to stay in that area, ultimately jump up 37 spots from day 1 to day 2, cash a check, get inside the top 30, make a little money. So the speed worm for me, I am really, really excited about throwing this more this year, right? Because it's a grass bait. You can throw it around grass. You can present this in a lot of the same scenarios that we throw a chatterbait, that we throw a swim jig, that we throw a Senko. You can throw this bait, and the idea for me and the thought of being able to tap into a new bite and learning a new technique to put fish in the boat on our grass fishery, that excites me big time, right? So this comes in 2 sizes. There's a full size and there's a junior. I'm going to experiment with both. That 4/0 hook that you were showing there, the Gamakatsu worm hook, that's the hook that I used on it, and I'm going to continue to use on it. So the speed worm is a sneaky way of catching fish in grass. And if you're not throwing it, you should probably mix it in. There's a lot of fish that get caught on this bait that frankly doesn't get talked about. So
yeah, we've had a couple. One in particular instructor didn't want to give a seminar on it because it's that much of a performer. But I want to go back into a little bit of just a real quick, because Ike, what's up, Ike? He's hanging out and checking us out here at the live. But I want this style of bait is what Ike used partly to win the Bassmaster Classic that he won. I believe that was 03, and he was down at that's so odd, because you were down in fishing in the Venice area, where are you still there? I don't know. Did you come home yet? Are you ever coming home? I know him and
I wouldn't want to leave there.
I know they were down red fishing. I don't know what else they're up to, but anyway, he was using this. There's so many different brands and styles, but I remember the original paddle tail was the one that I got exposed to, and we would have to manually cut
Right.
that slit down that tail to make it do what we wanted to. And Mike was working that and on the surface, weightless, and fish were coming up, and then he was throwing a stick bait in there and catching a lot that way. And he was catching some just swimming it. Been in Florida, this has been a staple on Florida fisheries. The Federation Florida team came up to our area and smashed everybody's head in on this technique. Fishing around grass. It's not just a grass bait, but it really thrives around the grass. And it's like you said, it's a bait that's kind of flying under the radar, guys, because I think a lot of guys are catching a lot of fish with it. And now we got to worry about Rich catching fish with that on the flats. But yeah, it's a great little weapon, guys. This is your last chance to like and share. We're going to be giving away that prize real soon, Jocelyn. You let me know when you have a winner. And this is your last chance to like and share, and we're going to put you in a contest to win. Man, a lot of baits, a lot of cool stuff. And did you put a question together?
Yeah, I can.
You got a question together?
I can put a question together. Yeah.
Okay. Well, get ready for that question, because I'm going to ask you for it here in like 2 seconds. And I want to just show you some of these cool baits that Ronald's hanging out with us. He hand paints these baits. Really cool paint jobs. He fishes around the area in the Northeast here quite a bit. They're pretty cool stuff. Thanks, Ronald. As I'm blocking you guys with my coffee cup over there, and we'll give him a little shout out because he came by and saw us. Thank you, Ronald. We're also going to be giving away a Cashin fishing rod. This is the Cashin Element fishing rod. We're going to be giving away one of those to whoever answers this grand prize. These are really amazing rods. The new design by Cashin. It's $129.99 price point. By the way, that's on sale right now. Use that code BASHULIVE22. I'm sorry, Jocelyn's got me all mixed up. We got this is going to be the like and why do I always get that wrong? I don't know. I need a whiteboard. That's the grand prize, and it's a lot of stuff in there because we're going to be jamming them in there. We're filling that box full of great tackle. So, Rich, you got a question?
Yeah. So the grand prize trivia question is going to be, who was the instructor that gave a Bashu seminar that featured the magic worm? Who was the Bashu instructor that gave a seminar that features the magic worm? That is not released yet, so you can't go back in and look yet.
You cannot Google that.
But if you were watching the show, paying attention, you will know which Bashu instructor featured the magic worm in one of his seminars. That'll be over there for the, oh, wow. That did not take long at all. Brat, congratulations. You are the winner. Brian Schmidt, he was the first Bashu instructor to feature the magic worm in a seminar. Brett, if you could, send us over your customer number so that we can get your information set up to get you that awesome prize pack, man. Great work.
Man, that was quick. Rich, you got to come up with a tougher question.
I thought it was going to be a good one, but hey, these guys are dialed in.
That's like a can do question,
right?
5-second answer.
Yeah.
We love you, Ken. And we miss your we got to get some Ken's questions back on the show.
Need a little Ken Duke back in the life.
Is this the winner of like and share? This is Die Hard Anglers won the like and share contest. Congratulations. This is more baits. That goes to the grand prize guy. You're gonna get a brand new Cashin fishing rod. So Jocelyn will reach out to you and get that all taken care of, guys. Man, it's 20% off right now. TackleDirect.com. It's going to be going on we're almost 2 hours in, so you have 22 hours left that you can take advantage of this amazing buying opportunity for most everything here at Tackle Direct. Use the code BASHULIVE22. And guys, if you haven't signed up for Bashu TV, this is the time. It really, truly, you'll become a better angler. You'll catch more fish. That's why we built this platform. We're delivering amazing content We've got new classes live in person. We're going to be at South Carolina. We're going to be in Alabama. We're going to be in Texas, and another event to be announced real soon. You can get tickets to those over at thebashuniversity.com. And of course, get yourself subscribed, whether you can make it to the classes or not. The content is really going to help you become a better angler. It's released every single week at Bash U TV. At least 3 instructional pieces, including our live show, are released every single week over there. And you can check out our right now, subscribe annually, give it to a friend, give it to somebody you know that loves fishing. And it's a $75 Tackle Direct coupon is available for you for an annual subscription. That's only $99. So it's a tremendous opportunity, tremendous holiday special. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us, Bash University QVC style. It was a lot of fun. I think we're going to do this again. It's just talking baits. Everybody loves it, and we do too. So we'll dive in a little deeper. We didn't get to talk about some of the stuff. I wanted to talk about my spinning reel. This is the Vanford Shimano spinning reel, and I love this reel. I mainly love it because of the 4,000 size on the spool. I love those big spools. A lot of guys like throwing the little spool. Man, that bigger spool can move so much more line, so much faster, and less line twist. That's a big deal for me. I have my Lose bait casting reel tournament series over there, but then this is the reel that you like to pair up with, Rich.
Yeah, it is. That's a Daiwa Tatula. That's in the 100 size. I like using the Tatula reels from Daiwa because their braking system and their tension system is really good. You can bomb those things out there and really make some long casts and not have to worry about you making backlashes. Also, it's a great reel for if you're teaching somebody how to use a bait caster. This is what I kind of get everybody going on, is a Daiwa Tatula. Like I said, it's just a really, really quality made reel at a good price point too, to get you in the bait caster game if you're not already there. And a couple rods sitting over here. One of the rods next to me is the Cashin 7-foot medium heavy. That's an all-purpose rod, and that's a great rod as well. I use that a ton. I throw my spinner baits on that around docks. That we just put a big bag together a couple weeks ago, and all those big fish came on this combo: the Daiwa Tatula and the Cashin 7-foot medium heavy all-purpose rod. So it's a good setup. But
well, we appreciate Cash and Rods. Check them out. They're on sale like everything else. And I hope you enjoyed it. Let us know. We're going to be back with another episode of Bash University Live next week. More to come. We've got an update on our anglers access rights that we've been working on. Shout out to Craig Duran, Eco Bass Angler. And I just want to give a shout out also to the folks at AFCO and Yamaha, doing such great work for anglers rights, and environmental and conservation causes that are really important to us as recreational anglers. So appreciate the work that they're doing, and we're going to get you an update on what's happening with us here real soon. Check it out. There was an article out in Bass Times if you didn't get a chance to see your last edition. So go check that out, and we'll see you guys next week for another episode of Bash You Live. Have a good day, everybody.